How's it going, guys? Josh here from Brampton and welcome to a new video. And as you've probably seen on social media, Meta has released a new update, the Andromeda update, or Andromeda, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But that's actually not the only update that has taken place over the last period. Fun fact, the Andromeda update actually was subtly released in June of 2025, but it's only now slowly being rolled out to every single account and basically released on a larger scale. But like I said, that is one of 4 updates that has happened with Meta over the last period. So I want to share a quick internal presentation that we've basically created for our own internal team. I want to share that with you guys today as well, so that you guys are fully prepared for this new update and you know exactly what to do with your own accounts so that you can get the best results possible in Q4 and beyond. So without further ado, let's dive into the presentation. So like I said, this is an internal presentation, so not every slide will be as relevant for you guys, but I'll just do my best to translate this into layman's terms as much as I possibly can, and just to sort of explain the nuances with the new updates and how they all work together to get you the best results as the marketer, and obviously to make sure that the platform stays as relevant to the users as possible, because contrary to popular belief, the users are still the number one priority for Meta. It's not actually the media buyers or the marketers. Obviously, the goal for Meta is to get you the biggest return on investment. So, as marketers and as media buyers, to make sure that your ads are as profitable as possible. But, that is actually not prioritized over the user experience, because if the user has a negative experience, then that will obviously have a detrimental effect on the amount of users on the platform. They will leave, which will obviously leave less supply, if you will, for the marketers to actually advertise to. So anyway, without rambling on too much, Meta's AI revolution, Andromeda and beyond, discover Meta's groundbreaking AI overhaul and how it changes the future of digital advertising, featuring Meta's official system diagrams, new performance data and strategic insights. So the 4 AI systems that have now been released are Gem, Lattice, Andromeda, the big one which everyone is talking about, and sequence learning. So as I mentioned, everyone is now talking about the Andromeda update. It's got quietly released in June, but now it's October at the time recording this. Everyone is now talking about it. A lot of the marketers are now realizing, okay, this is actually a thing. And as I mentioned here as well, this is the most significant shift since the iOS 14 update, which was a few years back. So if your campaign suddenly performed differently, the AI overhaul is basically the main reason why. And basically the long story short is the way we now structure the account is going to be completely different. Now, obviously over time, this has already become a bit of a thing, whereas, we're less and less reliant on the, very tedious interest-based targeting, and we're moving more to broad targeting, giving Meta some breathing room, if you will. And that all came about in during the iOS 14 update, of course, where Meta no longer was allowed to go as in depth with the interest targeting. And with the iOS 14 update, people could opt out of tracking. Obviously, ad blockers will become more and more a thing, and Meta could not legally provide the media buyers and the marketers with the data to accurately target those people. Now, of course, Meta kind of got their own back by providing 2 versions of Instagram and Facebook, a paid version where you pay a monthly fee to not have ads, and a free version which everyone basically end up going for anyway, because why would you pay for something that you've used for free for years and years and years? But then obviously one of the caveats to that was that you were opting into tracking by default if you continued with the free version. So a very crafty way from Meta to basically get their own back and basically get more data back, and that along with server-side tracking did kind of restore the amount of data that Meta was generating, obviously for the good, because that obviously helped out the media buyers and the marketers as well. And now this is the new big shift where Meta has realized, okay, all this interest-based targeting is kind of obsolete. We've got so many data points on these people anyway. We can already predict what kind of content they want to see, what kind of ads they want to see, without marketers having to fill out, what kind of interest they want to target. And it's gotten to the point now where interest-based targeting and restricting the targeting of Meta actually has an adverse effect. We see a rise in cost in CPMs. We see higher CPAs, low return on ad spend, because Meta does not have free reign on who they can target. And even though Meta knows better, who they should target and who is most likely going to generate results, by us saying, no, you cannot go after those people, we're actually shooting ourselves in the foot. And that's kind of why this update has taken place as well. So as I mentioned, Meta GEM, which I've called the super brain here, GEM stands for Generative Ads Model. And it basically helps decide what ad content to show. So which images, which headline, which creative variation is most likely to get someone's attention. So in short, this sort of update personalizes the creative part. So it uses generative AI to predict, what type of ad or combination of ads, of course, will perform best for, that particular person. So an example, two people, they might see the exact same product, but then one will see a lifestyle image and the other one will see a product demo image, and both will be chosen by GEM. Then Meta Lattice, which I have called the giant library, is basically just a system from Meta to help with the organizing and assessing the ads and ad audience data basically in a smarter way and a more structured way. And then Meta Andromeda, which I've called the personal concierge. And this is like the delivery brain, if you will. It decides which ads get shown in the user's feed at what moments. And it's not necessarily like which version of the ad with Meta GEM, but which ads in particular gets shown. So as I mentioned before, Meta has so many data points on us. Meta no longer needs to rely on the input from the marketer to know which particular person is going to place an order. So the Meta Andromeda update will do all of the heavy lifting for the marketer, and then our focus shifts from focusing on the audience and the interest targeting to the creative testing. So a larger emphasis will now be placed on us uploading the creatives, add more creatives to the mix and making sure that Meta has this plethora basically of, different images and different pieces of content to choose from. And then Meta will pick out the content or the ads that Meta thinks are most likely going to result in conversions. And for each individual person, each individual customer, that will be different. So basically, everyone that is most likely to convert based off a video will see videos. People that are most likely to convert off of an image will see images. People that are most likely to convert based off of carousels will see carousels. But it will go much, much deeper than that. So it's not only people that see videos get to see videos, but what kind of videos do they resonate with most? Is it very clean, perfectionistic videos with great lighting, or is it more so like the Gen Z iPhone style videos? What kind of ethnicity do people resonate with most? For example, if someone is based in Asia, do they respond better to someone that is Asian as well, that is showcasing a product review, or someone that is Caucasian? All those data points are already registered by Meta, and Meta is now going to unleash those to the public, so that basically when we start to run ads, Meta will find the ideal customer quicker based on the content that we upload, and the people that are on the platform will see more relevant ads quicker now than they ever done before. Which also brings us to the last big update, which is sequence learning. I've called it the memory game, and that is basically a method for understanding user behavior over time. And like I said, that is what I meant by all those data points. You should now see more relevant ads than ever before, and not only relevant products, but literally more relevant ads. So even if it is a product that you already seem already familiar with, the ads that you are now seeing will be more relevant as well. And that brings me back to my previous example. If you respond better to more polished ads, you will see more polished ads of the products that you already see in anyway. If you respond better to more Gen Z informal type, iPhone style review ads, then you'll get to see more of those. So whereas Meta already did a very good job of showing ads to people that are most relevant, you'll now see more relevant ads of the products that you think are most relevant, if that makes sense. And then moving on for the Andromeda update, as I put it, know you like red flip-flops at the beach, not just shoes. So it goes much, much deeper than it previously did. So just imagine this, you're running ads for your Shopify store, you're selling like premium candles, for example, And at the same time, 20 other brands or 20, 30 other brands are also bidding to show their candles or their ads to the same person on Instagram. So before the Andromeda update, Meta used several like smaller models that made separate decisions. One for who to target, one for which ads to show, and then one for how much to bid. And then those models didn't really talk to each other properly, which meant wasted impressions, mismatched targeting, and of course, lower return ad spend. Now, so after this Andromeda update, all of those little small systems are replaced by one big, massive AI brain, and that can see everything at once. So the user behavior, the ad quality, the creative performance, the conversion probability, even the time of day. So all of those data points are now being leveraged to show the right ad at the right time to the right person. So it basically predicts which ad is most likely to convert to that right person in that right time, and then saves that ad instantly, basically. So then moving on, sequence learning, memory of the purchase journey. What does Meta now do is it understands, okay, this person already converted on a ski resort ad, to understand sort of the journey, what happens after that. So obviously, they're going to a ski resort, so now they need ski equipment. So then Meta will start to show relevant equipment ads, and then also maybe show ads for, in this case, the lift pass discount. So another example, let's say you're selling skincare products. Meta previously just looked at like snapshots of behavior. So it will see what people are doing right now at this moment. And so that means that if someone viewed your product last week, if someone clicked a reel yesterday or added a cart this morning, Meta treated all of those as separate events. And now with this sequence learning, Meta will sort of see like a storyline appear out of those individual sort of snapshots. So it doesn't just see like what people are doing, but it also learns how those people behave over time. So okay, you've just bought a this person has just seen a skincare product. What are they doing after that? Because the pixels on all the websites, you've got server-based tracking, feeding data back to Meta. Meta can kind of already see what that person is doing. So if, for example, you've just purchased a ticket to go on holiday, Meta will take that as a data point and think, okay, if this person's going on holiday to this destination, what other ads could be relevant for that person in that moment of time? So moving on, what's changed for DTC brands? Well, these 4 AI systems are transforming how direct-to-consumer brands connect with customers and drive conversions. Brands aligned with Meta's new AI will see dramatic performance increases. So if you use this right, if you understand this correctly, you should see a very big increase in your performance. With that said, of course, if you continue to use and leverage ads in the old way, you'll see the exact opposite. So Meta is kind of enforcing this update on us, and you can either take part or get left behind. And that's not, not a warning from my end. That's just kind of the reality of how, things are moving along. So, if we look at sort of how we did things previously, the micro targeting the specific audiences. And obviously, post iOS 14, this is becoming less and less a thing, but people still believe that is the way to go. Or, we see people duplicating ad sets and running very specific interests over and over, thinking that they can outsmart the algorithm. That already wasn't really a thing anymore, but now it's becoming less and less a thing. And if you still do this, or if you spot your agency doing this, then you need to run away quickly, because they are not up to date with what is going on right now. So manual campaign scaling will no longer be a thing. Endless campaign segmentation will no longer be a thing. Manual bid adjustments will no longer be a thing either. So how does Meta want us to run ads to win in 2026 or Q4 2025 onwards? Creative diversity and experimentation, consolidated campaign structures. I'll get into this, what this all means in just a second. Clear signals and strong product ecosystem and advantage, plus automation and AI tools. So when Meta, because I know a lot of brands still do this, Meta will show particular ads in a particular way. So let's say, for example, you've got a brand that wants a very specific image for the newsfeed and a very specific image for stories. And they'll complain because Meta is doing it in a different way. You kind of need to let Meta do its thing. If Meta thinks that the news, so the 1x1 or the 4x5 image works better on stories than the native 1920x1080 format, which was 9x16 if I'm not mistaken, just let Meta do it, because Meta by doing so, Meta thinks it can get you better results. And by fighting against the algorithm, you're just going to see a higher CPM, a lower return on ad spend, and a higher CPA as well. So let Meta do its thing with the Advantage Plus. Yes, some things might not be on brand, but if that is what Meta thinks will produce you the best results. And also with that said, if you're the owner of the brand and you see your own ads, you're most likely not to see the most relevant or optimized ad, because Meta has so many data points on you as a brand owner. Meta doesn't really know how to target you because you're in the back end, you're adding new products, you're looking at products that aren't relevant because you want to see what can I do to make it relevant, etc. Meta thinks you're interested in that product, so Meta will show that not relevant product. And then the next time you see the carousel ad or a catalog retargeting campaign, because you've looked at that old product, Meta thinks that you want to buy that old product, and then you'll see lesser relevant ads in your retargeting, and then you complain to the agency or complain to the media buyer, like, why are we seeing this ad? And it's because of you. You're the one that's in the back end. So Meta thinks that it's doing the right thing by targeting with that particular ad, when in reality Meta just doesn't really know how to target you, and Meta has like too many data points on you basically. So what we're now moving to is from a very specific audience structure and a few creatives. It's no audience structure, completely broad, Advantage Plus, and a lot of creative testing. Meta's even going as far as to say all you need now is one CBO campaign, no ad sets, put everything in the one ad. Meta will do the prospecting, Meta will do the retargeting, and Meta will showcase the relevant ads to the relevant person at the relevant time. So the whole funnel can now be condensed into one ad. And then as the media buyer, as the marketer, as the brand owner, the most important thing that you need to do is to make sure that your ads are as relevant as possible. If you are targeting parents, you no longer put the interest as parents, you leave that broad, but you make sure that it's completely obvious that your ads, so the creatives, the images, the videos, are targeting parents. So just to recap, embrace the creative variety, make sure that you've got as many creatives inside your campaign at once. You consolidate the campaigns, so no middle of funnel, no bottom of funnel, no retargeting, keep everything in the one campaign. This is what Meta recommends, by the way. This is not like, we still, for some of our larger clients, we'll do things slightly different because we know based on the previous data that may show better results. But that's not to say that that is something that we'd recommend. We'd recommend sticking to Meta's guidelines. It's just that sometimes for our own clients we can see little nuances that we do want to leverage. 3, send clear data signals. As I mentioned before, if you want to target parents, make sure that is completely obvious in the creatives, and then leverage the AI and Advantage Plus, of course, as well. So if you need any help with this and you're a Shopify direct consumer brand that is doing around 30K a month and you want to go to that next level, you want to get up to a 7-figure brand status, and you need help from us, to generate better results, whether that is just for Q4 or, for the long term, feel free to schedule a call with us. We'll do a free audit of your whole brand. We'll give you some tips and tricks on how you can make sure that everything is firing on all cylinders. And if we see an opportunity to work together and you are interested in doing so, then we can discuss that on the call as well. But for now, I'm going to wrap up this video here. Like the video if you got something out of it. Comment down below what you'd like to see from this channel next. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.